this meeting, it was unhinged, but I'm also, always thinking about like how all these events fall in the timeline, because we didn't really know how crazy that one was. The White House was such a chaotic mess from December till January 3rd. Because remember, Bill Barr talked about his meeting there where Trump was banging the table. You had the crazy Kraken meeting on the 18th. You had, all the members of Congress marching in there, Marjorie Taylor Greene with the false electors, I think on the 23rd. And then there was that other crazy meeting with all the Department of Justice guys on January 2nd or 3rd, where they had this hours long screaming standoff, threatening to resign if Trump made Jeffrey Clark Attorney General. So this wasn't the first crazy thing. And then, the next day he's throwing ketchup plates on the wall. I mean, what an unhinged madhouse this was. And none of them talked. None of them wanted to talk about it through impeachment. Pat Cipollone was defending Trump at the last impeachment. Go back and look at those tapes where he's talking about how it's so bad to impeach a former president. And now he's turning around talking about a check for JVL, giving Mike Pence the Presidential Medal of Freedom. What? Who is this guy?
So Sarah, if you are Cipollone or Herschmann, who present as like reasonably normal people, right? They kind of seem like adults in the room, sort of, I mean, by the standards of conservatism, Inc. How do you take meetings like that and think that everything is okay? Like, I don't understand that, because my own personal instinct would be to want to throw myself into the arms of Cthulhu.
I don't get that reference, but I want to there's a point in, they show a clip of Cipollone when he's talking, like the film, and they ask him something like, and Amanda, you might have this glocked better than I do, but like, they ask him something like, what did you think when the president said he was going to send alternate electors? And Cipollone's like almost derisive in the way he responds, where he's like, what do you mean? What did I think? Like, I thought it was horrible for democracy and a totally unethical affront. And he like attacks them as like, how dare they ask him why this is, and everyone's like, I'm sorry, but aren't you the guy who refused to talk to us until we subpoenaed you, who has defended Donald Trump this whole time? And like, clearly the story that they're telling themselves, because like the reason these things are bananas is because you do have people like Cipollone who are just standing there to Rudy Giuliani, and like, I mean, like, like Herschmann, who, by the way, like Herschmann's sort of fun in these because he's so outspoken, but he's clearly obviously the kind of person, like, that's the best you can do for adults in the room, like someone who's going to get in a shoving match over it. Like, they are so like, but it's Cipollone that I find the most contemptible in this. And you know what? I'll give Mike Pence a Medal of Freedom. Mike Pence can have a Medal of Freedom the second he goes and sits in front of this committee and testifies, because you are not defending democracy if you won't tell the story of what happened. Some of the big looming questions, again, going back to a piece of information we have that simply opens doors to more questions. One is, why wouldn't Pence get in the car with the Secret Service? So there's a story out today that suggested that the Secret Service has been deleting their text messages and their communications at the time, because the implication was that they were going to take Mike Pence somewhere for his safety to keep him from certifying the election. And that's why Mike Pence didn't want to get in the car. Well, I know somebody who knows what Mike Pence's state of mind was and why he wouldn't get in the car. And that guy's name is Mike Pence. And if he was a patriot who deserved the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he would testify and tell us whether or not that's what was on his mind.
Mike Pence and Pat Cipollone.
I'm actually too mad. I'm like too mad to be on this live stream.
But they're the same kind of person. They both think that they are the responsible institutionalists.
It's in the book.
Held the line.
It's in Tim's book.
Respected and applauded. And honestly, how dare you even question my integrity? Because darn it, I was the responsible person in the room. Like, no. There was almost a flipping of the election, a coup. People were hurt. Police officers were assaulted. You owe us a little more than that. So yes, Pat Cipollone, you are going to come testify to the committee. And thank God, Liz Cheney was the one who made his name public. We really, I had forgotten about him from the last impeachment until she started really bringing it up and saying he was the White House lawyer. We really we really need to hear from him. We think that he did good things and we expect him to come. I mean, she leveraged that public pressure to say, you need to come do this. And he did. He did. This is why you have to like make these people famous.